Zodiac Place Preferences, Part 4, Cancer. Now we arrive at Cancer, the deeply sensitive, memory-soaked, and protective sign ruled by the moon. Cancer is not just about family and nostalgia. It's about emotional safety, rootedness, and a private sense of belonging that lives in places. When we speak of Cancer's comfort zones, we're not just talking about a home. We're talking about the kind of environment that lets a Cancer exhale fully, drop their guard, and feel quietly held. Cancer naturally gravitates to environments that offer containment, familiarity, and emotional resonance. Classically, Cancer is linked to water bodies, the kitchen, the womb-like inner parts of a home, riverside towns, family shrines, and places of care. In the modern world, this translates to kitchens with warmth, riverside cafés, family-run guesthouses, home libraries, cozy nooks and restaurants, or even moonlit verandas. Cancer feels at home in places that echo with personal memory, even if it's not their memory, as long as it carries emotional tone. Someone with the moon in Cancer often feels most at ease in soft, private, emotionally alive environments. They need lighting that soothes, corners that wrap around them, and rooms that hold the smell of food or memory. A quiet kitchen with early morning light, a child's drawing on the fridge, or a quilted reading nook by the window can offer deep emotional safety. Even public spaces feel better when there's a domestic rhythm, like neighborhood cafes where the barista remembers their order. Venus in Cancer is comforted by spaces that blend beauty with nostalgia. Think floral curtains in a grandmother's house, vintage crockery, or seaside homes with shells on the sill. They prefer spaces that are emotionally inviting. Love isn't about elegance, it's about warmth and attachment. Their ideal comfort zone might include soft textiles, scented candles, photo albums, and pastel-toned rooms with wooden furniture and memory-laced objects. The comfort comes from familiarity and sweetness, not trend, not perfection. Mercury in Cancer seeks mental rest in emotionally resonant spaces. They feel most like themselves in quiet corners where thoughts can be felt before spoken, writing desks near kitchens, letter writing stations, or story circles with family elders. Their thoughts are guided by mood and memory, so places with personal history calm them. They may feel particularly grounded in home archives, ancestral homes, or rooms filled with books about personal histories, family trees, or mythology. They think best in rooms that whisper rather than shout. Mars in Cancer can be restless until it finds the right container. These individuals are most at ease in spaces where they can move but stay protected. They may enjoy kitchens where cooking becomes a form of emotional release, swimming pools with private corners, or DIY spaces in garages where they can build in solitude. They don't like competitive arenas, but they love emotionally driven action, family barbecues, helping set up community dinners, or arranging furniture for guests. Motion is fine, so long as it's done in care. Jupiter in Cancer finds comfort in nurturing places that expand emotional connection. These people feel at home in cultural kitchens, spiritual dining spaces, extended family gatherings, and homes that welcome strangers with food and stories. They are drawn to environments that merge protection and inclusion, homes with guest rooms, spiritual centers with soup kitchens, or libraries with story time for children. They relax in spaces that feed both belly and heart. Saturn in Cancer introduces a vulnerability that can make comfort elusive, but once found, it's fiercely preserved. These individuals feel most safe in structured intimacy, homes with clear boundaries, personal rituals, and time-honored routines. A morning tea corner with exact placement of mugs, a hallway filled with old coats and stories, or a retreat space that feels cloistered but familiar. They often take time to feel safe, but when they do, they never let go. Their comfort is built, not found. Rahu in Cancer can generate a craving for emotional experience through spaces. These individuals may feel drawn to intense or exaggerated emotional environments, theater rooms that feel like home, overly decorated dining rooms, or rooms filled with artificial nostalgia like staged farmhouse decor. They are comforted by places that simulate depth and closeness, even if it's not real. They may also feel most held in spaces that are dramatic but safe, like watching a thunderstorm from the inside of a warm cabin. Ketu in Cancer may instinctively withdraw from emotional overexposure. These people find their deepest comfort in quiet, womb-like places with no expectations. A single bed under a low ceiling, a lakeside dock at twilight, or an attic room with a single lamp and a blanket can feel like sacred space. They feel safest where emotion is present but doesn't need to be discussed. Even the smell of rain-soaked wood or a room filled with silence and old furniture becomes their home. Their peace is in retreat, not connection. For Cancer, comfort is not in the space, it's in the feeling the space gives them. Whether that's warmth, memory, safety, or emotional silence, Cancer's ideal environments are never just physical. They are containers of memory, care, and protection. Sometimes that's the hum of a kettle in the early morning. Sometimes it's a room where someone once cried and was heard. But always, it's a place that lets the heart rest quietly behind the shell. Let's now explore how planetary conjunctions in Cancer influence what kinds of spaces make a person feel most emotionally anchored, inwardly safe, and softly connected. Cancer is the sign of containment, memory, and emotional rhythm. But these conjunctions reveal how that safety is created and what kind of space the soul chooses to nest in. Some comfort zones will look like kitchens and lullabies, others like silence and rain-streaked windows. Moon, Venus, and Cancer. This is tenderness woven into the walls. People with this conjunction feel most themselves in places where emotion and beauty coexist, where the surroundings are not just pretty, but personally meaningful. A hand-sewn quilt, an heirloom cabinet, or a kitchen filled with family recipes can feel like sacred space. They feel comforted by sensory intimacy. Soft cushions, gentle lighting, an environment scented with vanilla, rosewater, or freshly baked bread. Even their quietest rooms hum with affection. Their safe spaces are places where love has lived. Moon, Mars, and Cancer. This pairing is instinctive and protective. These individuals are most at ease in spaces where emotion and action blend into care. Think of a kitchen where they cook for others in a frenzy, a backyard garden they protect fiercely, or a home filled with rituals, mealtimes, ancestral altars, or storytelling traditions. They feel safest when they can do something with their feelings. Arrange, nurture, defend, create. Their comfort often lies in spaces where movement happens in service of the heart. Sun, Moon, and Cancer. This is core identity and emotion unified. These individuals feel most at home in environments where they can both feel and belong. A family cottage, a retreat center with soft-spoken rituals, a porch where grandparents used to sit, these become places of deep peace. They are drawn to houses with history, walls with photographs, and rooms with a soul. Comfort comes when the space reflects both who they are and where they come from. Venus, Mars, and Cancer. Here, desire and protection merge. These individuals feel comfortable in environments where affection is expressed physically but gently. A clawfoot tub with candlelight, a kitchen designed for shared cooking, a bed filled with soft linens and fresh flowers nearby. They are soothed by tactile intimacy, not drama, but presence. They may find their heart unwinding in beach homes, dimly lit restaurants with private booths, or even in gardens where they can hold hands in silence. Mercury, Moon, and Cancer. Thought and emotion travel together here. These people feel safe in quiet spaces that allow emotional expression, journaling corners, writing nooks near kitchens, or therapy rooms filled with pillows and books. They may speak best where they feel warm, literally and emotionally. Letters from loved ones pinned on walls, family stories whispered over tea, or voice notes in the dark all become containers of calm. Their comfort comes in being allowed to say how they feel, in spaces that don't rush them. Mars, Saturn, and Cancer. This is controlled emotion, movement with restraint. These individuals feel safest in structured domestic spaces, traditional homes with clean lines, kitchens where everything has its place, or community kitchens where duty is shared. They are calmed by ritual through responsibility, waking early to tend a garden, setting the table for elders, or restoring family homes. Comfort doesn't come through indulgence, it comes from having earned the right to rest. Venus, Saturn, and Cancer. Love becomes legacy here. These individuals are soothed by long-standing beauty and emotional maturity. They may feel most comfortable in old homes passed down through generations, spaces with soft formality, or places where tradition protects the heart. A wedding sari in a glass box, an antique dresser filled with letters, or a drawing room lit by a brass lamp, all become quiet refuges. Their spaces feel like someone once loved deeply, and that love lingers in the air. Sun Ketu in Cancer. This is identity touched by detachment. These individuals often find comfort in solitary, emotion-filled spaces that ask for nothing in return. A window seat with sheer curtains, a room in a monastery where a mother once wept. They feel safest in places that are emotionally alive but quiet, where nothing pulls at them. They don't need people, but they need emotional atmosphere. Old prayer halls, cemeteries at sunset, or coastal cabins with family ghosts, they find home in presence without pressure. Moon Rahu in Cancer, the hunger to feel everything. These people crave emotionally rich environments and may find comfort in overfull spaces, dining tables with too much food, homes filled with cousins and drama, or rituals that stir tears. But that comfort isn't always peaceful. It's familiar. Their nervous system may settle in the noise of shared grief or love. Sometimes they find home in reenactments of emotional intensity, watching family movies, cooking grandmother's recipes in the middle of the night, crying to music in the car. Mercury, Saturn in Cancer. This combination finds comfort in quiet, emotionally structured thought. These people may feel most at home in libraries where the silence feels reverent, or in old family homes where stories are kept in boxes. They might be the ones to organize photo albums, write down ancestral recipes, or quietly interview elders. Their emotional safety lives in environments where memory is documented. Even a simple room with a journal and a family tree can feel like holy ground. Every Cancer conjunction reveals a different kind of emotional landscape. Some crave noise, others silence. Some nest in family, others in ghosts. But they all share one thread. Comfort comes when the space doesn't just shelter the body, but remembers, reflects, and respects the heart. Cancer doesn't want grand design. It wants emotional continuity. A whisper of someone's voice, a scent from childhood, or a quiet light over a steaming bowl of soup. That's where Cancer belongs. Here are some unorthodox or less commonly explored planetary conjunctions in Cancer, revealing deep, nuanced preferences for places where the emotional body feels safe, remembered, or gently left alone. These aren't about textbook nurturing environments. Many of these combinations find comfort in emotional contradiction, ancestral weight, or psychic quiet that others may avoid. Yet for the person with these placements, these environments feel like soul shelters. Ketu Moon in Cancer. This is the ghost of a mother, the echo of a lullaby never sung. People with this conjunction may feel strangely at home in emotionally charged but empty spaces. An abandoned nursery, an attic with old dolls, or a silent river dock under moonlight. Their nervous system is soothed by places that feel emotionally potent, yet spiritually detached. They may find comfort in simplicity, a bed near a window, a shrine with ashes, a photograph half-faded. Emotion, for them, must not overwhelm, but be present, like the scent of memory. Mars, Ketu in Cancer. Here is instinctive defense with no obvious target. These people often feel comforted in shielded, solitary environments where they can release their tension without judgment. A basement where no one goes, a garden wall to dig behind, or a night kitchen where they cook in silence. There is a craving for physical expression of emotion, but only when unseen. Sweat lodges, private swimming pools, stormy beaches, these are their comfort zones. They relax when there is water and fire, but no witness. Mercury, Rahu in Cancer. This pairing seeks emotional information overload. These individuals may find odd comfort in cluttered ancestral homes, gossip-filled kitchens, or ritual spaces where too many people talk at once. They settle into environments where emotional energy is moving. Chatter during mourning, layered domestic noise, or even chaotic family reunions. The emotional buzz is their white noise. Even overdecorated rooms with too many portraits, incense, food smells, and memory objects can feel oddly safe if it's familiar. Saturn, Rahu in Cancer. This combination craves structured intensity. They often find comfort in places where emotional pressure has been formalized. Courtrooms that hold family trauma, ancestral homes with strict rules, or ritual spaces that demand composure under grief. They feel safest when emotions are acknowledged but contained. Think grandmother's house with plastic on the couch, or formal dining rooms where generations suppress and perform love. Their comfort isn't soft, it's durable. They feel most like themselves when emotional reality is present but managed. Venus, Ketu in Cancer. This pairing seeks spiritual sweetness without attachment. These people often feel at ease in devotional spaces, where beauty has a purpose beyond pleasure. Think of a temple kitchen feeding orphans, a hospice with ocean views, or a nunnery garden in bloom. They are not drawn to romance, but to grace. Their ideal space might be a tiny prayer room filled with jasmine, a music room where no one watches, or a tearful goodbye under a soft sky. They don't want to be held. They want to dissolve quietly in beauty. Sun Ketu in Cancer. This person feels most at home when the self disappears into emotional lineage. They may avoid center stage roles, but feel safe in spaces where history, ancestry, and emotional presence are all stronger than their own identity. Old kitchens where everyone else cooked before them, family plots under banyan trees, or spaces with faded wall paint and inherited silence. Their sense of place is tied to what came before. They rest best in homes that do not ask them to shine, only to witness. Mercury, Saturn, Ketu in Cancer. This is the archivist of forgotten feelings. These individuals may feel safest in dusty filing rooms of orphanages, kitchens where old recipes have stopped being used, or shrines where names are remembered only in silence. They prefer emotionally quiet, mentally ordered environments where grief is organized. They might create safety by indexing journals, preserving dried flowers, or restoring family letters. A single drawer with old handwriting and scented paper might bring them more comfort than any embrace. Venus, Rahu in Cancer. Love is a craving, and comfort comes through emotional theater. These individuals are drawn to emotionally heightened places that simulate intimacy. Stage plays about family, soap opera-filled living rooms, wedding halls that echo after everyone's left. They may find home in spaces where drama happens and subsides, like a dressing room after a performance, or a prayer room filled with people's whispered wishes. There's safety in emotional presence, even if exaggerated. The performance of closeness feels like closeness. Sun, Mars in Cancer. Here, action and identity are both protective and emotional. These individuals feel most like themselves when doing things for someone they love. Their comfort is often built through service. Fixing a grandparent's sink, hosting cousins at short notice, or staying up to cook for someone returning from the hospital. Their safe spaces are those where their efforts carry emotional weight. A home that demands them is a home they can settle into. Stillness without emotional labor feels empty. Jupiter, Ketu in Cancer. Spiritual nourishment with no ego. These people feel at peace in devotional kitchens, retreat ashrams, forest monasteries, or even humble homes with simple food and ancestral altars. They don't seek recognition, just quiet benevolence. Their ideal space might be a home where guests are fed without ceremony, or a mountain hut where they read scriptures to the sound of rainfall. Comfort for them is when emotion, tradition, and spirit merge into service without self. These unorthodox Cancerian conjunctions show us that comfort isn't always softness. Sometimes it's the echo of emotion, the shadow of memory, or the disciplined handling of grief. For Cancer, a place is safe not when it's clean or pretty, but when it remembers, protects, or holds emotion in form, whether that's a kitchen at midnight, an old couch no one throws away, or a window that lets the moonlight in. These are the spaces where Cancer lets go. Not because the world is quiet, but because someone once cried there and was heard. Zodiac Place Preferences, Part 8, Scorpio. Now we enter Scorpio, the deep, mysterious, and emotionally potent sign ruled by Mars, and in modern astrology, Pluto. When we speak about Scorpio's comfort zones, we must move away from conventional ideas of warmth and coziness. For Scorpio, comfort isn't always found in softness or simplicity. It's found in privacy, depth, intensity, and transformation. Scorpio feels most at home in environments where it can be unguarded but unseen, where it can observe, withdraw, and regenerate without being interrupted or exposed. Scorpio naturally gravitates to places that are hidden, powerful, emotionally charged, or energetically sealed. Traditionally linked to caves, wells, secret chambers, underworlds, and sites of ritual, Scorpio in the modern world feels most at ease in research labs, therapy rooms, secluded bathrooms, private studios, sealed basements, locked drawers, dark attics, deep forests, and sacred places of death, healing, or sex. Their comfort is often in spaces others find intimidating, because Scorpio isn't looking to relax, it's looking to transform safely. Someone with the moon in Scorpio feels safest in environments with an emotional silence, privacy, and energetic containment. Think of a bathroom with no windows, a home library with the door locked, or a midnight balcony where no one can reach them. They are not comforted by chatter or exposure. They need a psychic cave, somewhere to feel intensely without leaking. Often their bedroom is dark, cool, with heavy curtains, protective textures, and a door that stays closed. Even a cluttered space can be soothing, if it's theirs and untouched by others. Venus in Scorpio finds comfort in sensual, emotionally saturated spaces. These people crave aesthetic intimacy, rooms scented with musk or myrrh, velvet textures, candles burning near water, love letters tucked in boxes. Their relaxation often comes in spaces where feeling is tangible: a massage room with silence, a red-lit hallway with incense, a garden under the moon. Their homes may feature symbolic art, ancestral objects, or secret altars. They feel safest where beauty and desire meet vulnerability. Mercury in Scorpio finds peace in mentally immersive environments that allow secrets, concentration, or psychological depth. Think of a detective's office, a metaphysical bookstore, or a research den where they can listen to dark podcasts and light a candle. Even their workspace must feel sealed. Headphones in, curtains drawn, phone on airplane mode. Their comfort lies in mental privacy. They don't want a space for small talk. They want a space for deep thought, coded language, or quiet analysis. Mars in Scorpio feels most like itself in environments of strategic intensity. These people are soothed by rooms where they can train in silence, move with precision, or feel the weight of power. A dimly lit gym with no music. A dojo at night, a hidden ritual space, a garage with tools but no distractions. Their idea of comfort isn't stillness, it's contained will. Even in the home, they feel best in locked rooms, ritual corners, weapon walls, or sensual dens. They rest not in softness, but in being in control of their energy. Jupiter in Scorpio finds ease in spiritually rich, emotionally profound, or taboo-friendly spaces. A home altar with skulls and sacred books, a meditation room that doubles as a shadow work chamber, a cellar with wine, ancestral photos, and old secrets. Their peace lies in places that allow emotional resurrection, even if it's intense. They are the ones who rest best in sacred darkness, where grief and growth hold hands. Comfort isn't about lightening up, it's about going deeper without fear. Saturn in Scorpio seeks protection through control of emotional intensity. These individuals often feel safe in austere, cold, private places: stone rooms, locked basements, black notebooks, metal cabinets. Their comfort comes from having walls, emotional and literal. They may live in minimalist homes with heavy doors, small windows, and nothing on display. Their bathroom is their sanctuary. Their filing system is sacred. They rest in emotional armor. Their comfort doesn't invite you in, it tells you not to knock. Rahu in Scorpio craves heightened emotional experiences and feels safe only in controlled chaos. They might be most comfortable in places that feel risky but sealed: underground clubs, dark therapy rooms, esoteric rituals, tantra retreats. Even in their homes, they may gravitate towards seductive lighting, black silk, or strange textures. Their rest comes not from peace, but from immersive intensity. They feel held when their senses are overwhelmed in controlled doses, like a velvet cave with mirrors, music, and a secret button to escape. Ketu in Scorpio detaches from control and power, but still seeks emotional purity. These people feel at home in empty, transformative spaces: abandoned temples, sacred ruins, funeral sites, or healing rooms with no decoration. They want the essence, not the performance. Their homes may be simple but emotionally charged: a single candle, a sacred well, a stone, and a bowl of water. They are comforted when nothing pretends. Even silence is sacred, so long as it's real. For Scorpio, comfort is not about being at ease. It's about being protected while vulnerable, alone while saturated, and sealed while transformed. They don't look for safety in softness, but in sovereignty. Their ideal environments may be dark, ritualistic, hidden, sensual, or emotionally magnetic, but always energetically intentional. They feel most themselves where no one is watching, but everything is felt, where the world goes quiet and their soul is finally allowed to speak without fear and without interruption. Let's explore how planetary conjunctions in Scorpio shape the kinds of environments where someone feels truly safe, empowered, and whole. Unlike most signs, Scorpio doesn't always find comfort in what is light, open, or easy. Its rest often comes through depth, secrecy, emotional truth, and transformative stillness. The following conjunctions show how Scorpio's comfort is shaped by the emotional architecture of a place, whether it's a hidden room, an emotionally charged silence, or a sensual chamber with shadow and soul. Moon, Mars, and Scorpio. Emotion and instinct merge into a fiercely private energy. These individuals feel most at home in environments where they can release intensity and solitude. Think deep-soaking bathtubs behind locked doors, night walks along rivers, or private bedrooms that double as emotional bunkers. Their nervous system doesn't calm through distraction, it calms through total immersion. Their safe space must allow for rage, grief, or passion to move through their body without observation. They feel at home in intensity, as long as it's under their control. Venus, Mars, and Scorpio. This is desire with precision. These individuals feel most comforted in sensual, emotionally complex environments, velvet-lined spaces with low light, private love nests, therapeutic sex rooms, or simply a bedroom filled with deep colors and strong scent. Their body and heart need to feel in command of desire. They rest in spaces where they can express deep affection, but only if it's sacred, secret, or shared with someone who sees behind the mask. The space must hold charge, not just comfort. Moon, Ketu, and Scorpio. This is emotional detachment within deep waters. These individuals may feel comfort in empty, raw, haunted environments. Abandoned temples, oceanside at night, underground cisterns, or a room that no one else enters. They find safety in emotional exposure, but only with no one around. Their ideal space is emotionally significant but void of demand. A bath under moonlight with no one watching. A shrine made of stones and salt. They don't crave emotional closeness, they crave emotional truth without performance. Mercury, Mars, and Scorpio. This is the strategist of emotion. These individuals feel comfortable in mentally intense environments, secret research labs, crime writing corners, conspiracy boards, or emotionally loaded planning rooms. They feel at peace when understanding power dynamics. Their rest comes from decoding the tarot table, the occult library, or a bedroom where mirrors are not decoration but signal. Their ideal room may look ordinary, but there's always something hidden, a blade in a drawer, a password-protected drive. Their comfort is cerebral and primal at once. Sun, Moon, and Scorpio. Here, the core identity is completely fused with emotional depth. These individuals only feel safe in spaces where their internal life isn't judged or diluted. A soundproof room, a deep well, a single candle in a pitch-black chamber. Their idea of a sanctuary is not a spa, it's a container, a place where they can feel, process, and rise without interference. Even their bedroom may feel like a vault, locked, dim, sacred. They rest where intensity is normalized, not avoided. Venus, Saturn, and Scorpio. Love is weighty, earned, and permanent. These individuals find comfort in timeless, emotionally dignified spaces, a mahogany study where love letters are stored, a grandmother's velvet couch, a hidden ring box, or a room full of ancestral altars. They aren't soothed by soft fluff, they need depth, loyalty, and history. Their comfort zones feel old, formal, protective. A room with heavy drapes, old books, preserved perfume bottles, and no open windows. They don't just rest, they protect their rest like it's sacred ground. Mercury, Ketu, and Scorpio. This is thought purified of noise. These individuals feel most at peace in ritualized intellectual solitude, a candlelit journaling desk, a silent library of forbidden books, or a corner where they hand copy sacred texts. They're not comfortable with small talk, casual curiosity, or surface noise. Their favorite spaces are quiet, penetrating, symbolic. They love worn ink, whispered secrets, and diaries sealed with intention. Their rest comes from being mentally unseen, but spiritually awake. Mars, Rahu in combination seeks controlled emotional adrenaline. These individuals rest best in power-charged environments with sensual or taboo undercurrents. Tantra rooms, occult training halls, martial arts studios at night, or private chambers for testing limits. Their body relaxes in danger as long as they're the one orchestrating it. A hidden blade, a room for candle rituals, a wardrobe with leather and lace. Their idea of comfort involves secrecy, stimulation, and strategy. They don't relax where there is no edge. Saturn, Ketu, in Scorpio. The solitary priest of the underworld. These people feel most at home in austere sacred spaces, desert monasteries, hidden ossuaries, near bare temples. Their home might have stone floors, a single mattress, cold light, and incense that no one else smells. They are comforted not by warmth, but by emptiness filled with presence. They do not relax in places of chatter or design. They relax where ritual discipline has drained all vanity, and where silence is not a void, but a vow. Moon Saturn in Scorpio. Emotion requires structure. These individuals feel safest in emotionally weighty but emotionally controlled spaces. Therapist offices with minimal decor, ancestral homes with locked cabinets, or private journals hidden behind strong passwords. They rest best where pain is acknowledged but contained. A chair facing a fireplace that's never lit, a single dark rose preserved in wax. Their comfort isn't in ease, it's in emotional stability through boundaries. They don't need release, they need a space where nothing leaks. These Scorpio conjunctions remind us that comfort isn't always soothing. Sometimes it's charged, sealed, symbolic, or sacred. For Scorpio, the ideal resting space may be a locked vault, a sensual den, a moonlit attic, or a ritual chamber. What matters is not softness, but depth, containment, and truth. Scorpio doesn't want to escape itself in comfort. It wants to enter itself completely and only feels safe in environments that allow that descent with dignity. Here are some more unorthodox and deeper-cut planetary conjunctions in Scorpio, each shaping a specific and psychologically rich sense of what kind of environment feels safe, sacred, or quietly powerful. With Scorpio, comfort is rarely passive. These combinations highlight how certain people find peace in emotional risk, mystical silence, shadow immersion, or symbolic charge, places others might avoid, but Scorpio seeks out for deep energetic resonance. Sun Rahu in Scorpio. Here, identity seeks transformation through intensity and mystery. These individuals feel most themselves in power-charged or forbidden spaces, elite secret societies, initiation rituals, psychic development circles, occult strategy rooms. Their sense of rest is tied to activation, a dark room where they conduct tarot readings, a corner where they've buried a secret, even a minimalist bedroom with black walls and mood lighting, designed not for sleep, but for control. They are comforted where personal power can rise, away from surface attention. Moon Rahu in Scorpio. This is emotional immersion in shadow and magnetism. These individuals often feel oddly safe in intense emotional atmospheres, crisis response rooms, emergency shelters, after-dark urban parks, or bedrooms that feel like film noir sets. They are comforted by emotional intensity and may even recreate it in personal spaces. Candle altars, red velvet, mirrors, grief-soaked playlists. Their nervous system feels most at home when it's processing depth, death, desire, or loss, but only on their terms. Sun Saturn in Scorpio, a heavy-duty identity built on inner control. These individuals are comforted in fortress-like environments, soundproof offices, locked studies, minimal homes with cold tones and thick doors. Their rest comes not from retreat, but from command. They might live in architectural shells, clean lines, dark marble, steel fixtures, nothing soft. They find peace in structure, ritualized solitude, meal prep as meditation, exact lamp lighting. Their bedroom is a vault, their bathroom a monastery, their living room a war room with warm tea. Mercury Saturn in Scorpio. This is mental silence with edge. These people crave containment of thought and conversation. They may rest best in stone libraries, psychological analysis rooms, or in bed with a locked journal. Their space is a vault for secrets, intellectual, emotional, or ancestral. They dislike loose energy. Their favorite rooms are intellectually exact, emotionally private. They trust order and rest in mental tightness, places with clear lines, old texts, and zero echo. A single light bulb above a journal is their sacred space. Venus Q in Scorpio. Beauty without attachment. These people often find deepest comfort in aesthetic spaces soaked in mysticism and impermanence. Tantric shrines, Sufi rooms lit by oil lamps, abandoned love nests where time left its mark. They are not drawn to mainstream elegance. They want sacred erosion, beauty touched by loss. A velvet bed in a house being sold. A prayer rug soaked with tears. Their home might be filled with faded saris, dried roses, or scent bottles that were once full. Comfort comes in what was once adored and is now simply present. Mercury, Ketu, and Scorpio, words that disappear. These individuals may feel most relaxed in sacred writing spaces no one enters. a spell book bound in fabric, a quiet word doc named after a dream, an attic where they once heard a whisper. Their comfort is not in expression, but in secrecy of thought. They might write notes and burn them, whisper to mirrors, sleep beside blank notebooks. Their rest lives in conscious silence, not avoidance, but deliberate absence. Mars, Saturn, and Scorpio. Here the physical body obeys ritual. These people are comforted by disciplined private physical spaces, martial arts dojos at night, cold shower rooms, self-regulated strength routines. They might sleep best in a hard bed beside a weight bench or prepare their meals in silence like warriors. Their ideal room is a training chamber for the soul. They relax through effort, but never chaos. Even their passion is practiced. Intensity plus structure equals safety. Jupiter, Saturn, and Scorpio. Spiritual heaviness made sacred. These individuals feel most grounded in austere philosophical or ancestral environments. Meditation rooms where incense burns beside bones, family prayer halls with locked drawers, or spaces used for karmic ritual. They're comforted by ritual consequence. Their bookshelf contains death manuals and mystic treaties. Their bed may be beside a spiritual journal. Their space says, transformation costs something, and that's where they rest best. Sun, Ketu, and Scorpio. Selfhood without spotlight. These individuals retreat into mystical and identity-less spaces. An abandoned temple, a room where no mirrors exist, a home where no one calls their name. Their comfort is not in drama, but in symbolic invisibility. They do not decorate for the living, they decorate for the soul. A black cloth over a table, a single ash bowl, a candle with no reason. Their bedroom may feel like the afterlife, and that's how they sleep best. Jupiter, Ketu, and Scorpio. Spiritual depth through subtraction. These people feel most at home in empty, sacred, emotionally potent environments. Forest caves, burned altars, temple corners where no one prays anymore. They don't want guidance, they want truth without witness. Their space may have feathers, bones, charred herbs, or forgotten statues. They relax where the veil is thin. Their comfort is in absence, stillness, and truth that cannot be spoken but only felt. These Scorpio combinations remind us that for the soul attuned to this sign, comfort is not peace, it's psychic integrity. They rest where nothing leaks, where emotion is allowed to be massive but still held, where transformation can occur, not through luxury, but through depth, secrecy, and sacred intensity. Scorpio doesn't rest to escape itself, it rests to descend fully, and only the right space, dark, still, sealed, and chosen, can hold that descent with dignity. Zodiac place preferences, Part 12, Pisces. Now we step into Pisces, the final sign of the zodiac, the sign of surrender, diffusion, mysticism, and poetic resonance. Ruled by Jupiter, traditional, and Neptune, modern, Pisces doesn't seek comfort through containment or logic. It finds it through emotional atmosphere, fluid boundaries, sensory gentleness, and subtle spiritual presence. For Pisces, a space is not just where they rest, it's where they dissolve. Comfort isn't a couch, it's a feeling, a vibration, a flicker between worlds. Pisces doesn't nest, it floats. Pisces gravitates to environments that are soft, sacred, dreamlike, hidden, or water-touched. Traditionally associated with oceans, sacred wells, inner sanctums, hermit caves, floating temples, and foggy moors, the modern Piscean soul finds sanctuary in recording studios, art therapy rooms, vintage bookstores, sleep sanctuaries, ocean-facing apartments, or rainy glass-walled gardens. They rest in mood more than matter. The room must speak a language deeper than furniture. Someone with the moon in Pisces is emotionally calmed by quiet, luminous, soul-soaked spaces. Their room might include gauze curtains that filter light, a fountain or fish tank, crystals near the bed, and music always playing somewhere faintly. They need emotional openness, but no pressure. Their home must let them drift between thoughts, identities, timelines. Even their bathroom might feel like a temple. They don't seek escape, they are the escape, and their space must allow them to keep dreaming. Venus in Pisces finds beauty through longing, memory, and the unseen. These individuals rest in romantic, ethereal environments, antique dressing rooms, floral verandas, homes where incense and old letters share shelves. They're soothed by objects with story, handwritten notes, weathered fabrics, fairy lights, devotional art. Their bedroom is often styled like a prayer. They don't just want beauty, they want a space that remembers. Even if the pillows are mismatched, The heart knows they're perfect. Mercury in Pisces needs mental diffusion to rest. These people are calmed by soft, non-linear thinking spaces, art corners with unfinished paintings, poetry-covered corkboards, dream journals scattered across tables. Their ideal home may include books they've never finished, a meditation playlist, and symbols from 10 spiritual paths. They relax when not everything makes sense. Their mind calms in mystical fog, not linear clarity. Their room must let thoughts melt, not file. Mars in Pisces finds peace through flow, surrender, and rhythmic action. They are comforted by movement that dissolves tension, swimming pools, dance floors in candlelight, yoga by water. Their home may include incense, floor pillows, mood lighting, and movement rituals they don't explain. They rest when they can do without force. Even their tools may look like offerings, soft blankets folded like cloaks, essential oils lined like relics. Action must feel like prayer, not performance. Jupiter in Pisces is comforted by sacred expansiveness. These individuals feel most at home in spiritually resonant, compassion-soaked, and cosmically gentle places. Their home may feature devotional statues, dream altars, hand-woven tapestries, and bowls of water with flower petals. They rest where grace is the atmosphere, not a behavior. Their sanctuary is one where the veil feels thin, between soul and world, between love and light. They don't need things to be clear. They need them to be true. Saturn in Pisces finds comfort only when surrender meets structure. These people are most at ease in softly boundaried spiritual spaces, silent monasteries, sacred bathhouses, therapy rooms with muted tones. Their home might feature rules they created for inner peace, no speaking after dusk, candles lit at the same hour, or a chore chart for the soul. They rest best where form holds the formless. A house where each corner carries silence with weight, and water is always nearby. Rahu in Pisces is drawn toward mystical excess and otherworldly immersion. These individuals find comfort in spaces that feel enchanted or surreal, ambient temples, psychedelic art studios, digital dreamscapes, or performance spaces where the line between self and soul disappears. Their home may feature projection art, LED galaxies, fluid furniture, or portals to imagination. They are soothed by sensory saturation that leads to transcendence. They don't just rest, they vanish into vibe. Ketu in Pisces finds peace in purified stillness and non-reactive spiritual minimalism. These people feel most at home in empty altars, foggy paths, caves with echoes, or a bedroom with one cushion, one lamp, one poem. Their comfort doesn't come from design, it comes from letting go. Their space may appear empty to others, but holds the subtle residue of past lives, prayers, or oceans. A bowl of water on a bare table may say more than a palace. They rest not to recover, but to dissolve the need to be. For Pisces, comfort is never about possessions. It's about emotional tone, sacred softness, and the freedom to drift inward without disturbance. Whether it's a musician's night-lit studio, a prayer hut by the sea, or a bedroom with a moon glow and an unfinished canvas, Pisces doesn't settle into space, it melts into it. Their perfect sanctuary is the one that lets them dream wide, feel everything, and ask for nothing in return. Here are some planetary conjunctions in Pisces, explored through the kinds of environments where these sensitive, boundary-blurring energies feel most held, quieted, and transcendent. Pisces doesn't seek comfort in logic or routine. It seeks emotional saturation, symbolic presence, sacred emptiness, or dreamy diffusion. These conjunctions show how each variation of the Piscean experience finds peace not in clear design, but in mood, mysticism, and meaning without edges. Moon Venus in Pisces finds comfort in romance that exists beyond words. These individuals rest in dreamy, sensory-rich environments like rose-lit bedrooms, rain-slicked windowsills with poetry books, altars made of love notes and seashells. Their home is often scattered but sacred, soft fabrics, ocean sounds, watercolor art, and touches of sweetness everywhere. Their nervous system is calmed by beauty that feels like devotion, a scent that lingers, a chair that remembers you, a song that never ends. Sun Moon in Pisces seeks emotional and existential unity through atmosphere. These people feel at home in ethereal, non-judgmental spaces, temples with open windows, forest cabins with incense, artist studios full of candles and incomplete visions. Their identity rests when they don't have to define themselves. Their homes may feel like memoryscapes, hazy, layered, moody, blankets piled like dreams, light soft and watery. They don't need grounding, they need permission to float. Mercury, Venus in Pisces communicates best through color, tone, gesture, or silence. These individuals are comforted by poetic, emotionally intelligent spaces, writing desks facing oceans, music studios with soft lighting, letter writing corners where no one speaks. Their home might include handwritten affirmations, thrifted books, tangled scarves, and dreams in physical form. Their comfort is in expression without correction, a space that lets them say "I love you" without ever saying it. Mars, Venus in Pisces finds sensuality through surrender. These individuals feel comfort in liminal spaces, floating in water, massage rooms with essential oils, lovers' beds filled with quiet breath and candlelight. Even their private space reflects emotional vulnerability and dreamy motion. Sheets that feel like skin, music that pulses slowly, corners made for drifting touch. They rest where the body dissolves into longing, and desire becomes prayer. Moon, Neptune in Pisces, if using modern rulership, seeks complete sensory merging. These people find peace in trance-inducing spaces. Underwater caves, fog-covered hills, echoic sanctuaries, or sound bathrooms. Their home may include crystal grids, dream catchers, soft white curtains moving in breeze, and foggy mirrors. They don't separate sleep, art, prayer, or memory. They live in a continuum. Rest for them is immersion in gentle unreality. Mercury, Neptune in Pisces thinks in impressions and rests in spaces where thoughts don't need form. These individuals feel at ease in spaces of quiet mental poetry, dream journal desks, ashrams with chanting, museums at dusk. Their rooms may include layers of paper, fading ink, and objects that don't make sense but carry deep meaning. They rest when language loses sharpness, when nothing is named but everything is felt. Mars, Neptune in Pisces rests in sacred motion. These individuals are comforted by intuitive physical flow, ecstatic dance floors, ocean swims, barefoot movement, and candlelight. Their homes often contain fabrics instead of furniture, yoga mats instead of chairs, incense in place of rules. They don't want to sit still, they want to move like water. Their idea of a safe space is one where the body melts into the spirit. Sun, Ketu in Pisces is dissolved identity, resting in surrender. These individuals are most at home in environments that do not ask who they are. Fog-bound temples, hermits' caves, monasteries by the sea. Their home may be bare but sacred. One mat, one bowl, one open window with the sound of wind. They don't need comfort through affirmation. They need comfort through emptiness that accepts all of them. They rest when selfhood fades. Moon, Ketu in Pisces finds emotional safety in cosmic stillness. These individuals relax best in total solitude with spiritual presence. Mountaintop dawns, temples without crowds, prayer corners that echo only their breath. Their home might carry scents of sandalwood, images of gods with no name, and spaces no one is allowed to touch. Their peace lies in the quiet dissolving of need itself. Not "I am held," but "I no longer need to be." Jupiter, Ketu in Pisces rests in mystical union with the eternal. These individuals seek peace in formless wisdom spaces, deep retreats, forgotten sacred libraries, riverbanks where no one visits but the sky. Their home is often a mix of soul-anchored randomness, half-finished manuscripts, sacred relics from dreams, objects that arrive mysteriously. Their comfort is found when knowledge turns into presence, and belief requires no doctrine. They rest in grace without grammar. These conjunctions show us that Pisces doesn't rest by disengaging. It rests by melting into the world's deeper pulse. Its comfort zones are oceans of feeling, corners where nothing makes sense but everything is true, and rooms where silence is a language. Whether in a healing cave, a floating studio, a salt-laced bed by the sea, or a prayer whispered to no God, Pisces sleeps not because it is tired, but because dreaming is its natural state. Here are more unorthodox planetary conjunctions in Pisces, each pointing to rare, subtle forms of comfort, where the boundaries between self and space, emotion and spirit, reality and dream begin to blur. Pisces doesn't find ease in sharp definition or structured identity. Its rest is always in softness, surrender, secrecy, and the sublime. These combinations reveal how some Pisces types rest through transcendence, others through ghostly beauty, and still others through the quiet vanishing of self into sensation. Sun, Rahu in Pisces seeks visibility through the surreal. These individuals rest best in dream-saturated, performatively spiritual spaces, cosmic stage sets, mystical photoshoot zones, healing ceremonies lit like theater. Their home may include backlit altars, curtains that glow, costumes hung like relics, or poetry etched into mirrors. They don't relax by stepping back. They rest by leaning deeper into the myth of who they could become. Venus, Rahu in Pisces, is drawn to idealized, intoxicating love atmospheres. These people feel most at home in spaces where romance feels cinematic and unreal. Hot springs under moonlight, artists' lofts with perfume in the air, bedrooms that feel like underwater chapels. Their homes might include silk-draped lamps, love notes in strange languages, and music that never quite ends. They rest in overwhelming emotional beauty, where reality itself becomes a mood board for longing. Mars, Rahu in Pisces finds ease in ecstatic surrender. These individuals are comforted in trance motion zones, rave temples, psychedelic dance circles, floating sanctuaries where the body disappears into rhythm. Their home might include projection lights, ritual wear, and worn-down shoes from spiritual festivals. They rest through collapse after catharsis. Stillness only comes after motion has stripped the ego bare. Mercury, Rahu in Pisces is obsessed with the mystical language of feeling. These individuals rest best in information as vibration spaces, oracle reading dens, AI art labs powered by intuition, or rooms filled with song lyrics and symbols. Their home might include ambient recordings, dream coding scripts, strange fonts on walls, or automatic writing notebooks. They feel safest in meaning systems that are too fluid to be explained. Saturn, Rahu in Pisces finds comfort in structured dissolution. These people rest in controlled spiritual containers, monasteries with strict silence hours, therapeutic retreat centers, ceremonial circles with rules. Their home might feature white walls, water features, and very little speech. They are comforted by disciplined transcendence, ritual baths, mantra practice, self-imposed sensory fasts. They rest not in release, but in boundaried mysticism. Sun Ketu in Pisces dissolves the ego into light. These individuals are most at home in places where identity disappears into cosmic rhythm, desert temples with no signage, pilgrimage paths in fog, or ocean cliffs where no one knows their name. Their bedroom may have no photos, only incense, blank notebooks, and objects too personal to name. Comfort is the absence of reflection. They rest not as themselves, but as no one at all. Mars Ketu in Pisces seeks sacred movement that leads to emptiness. These individuals feel comfort in invisible labor, sweeping temple floors alone, walking barefoot with no destination, stirring soup for guests who never arrive. Their homes may include handmade brooms, ritual knives, or mats placed by hand each night. They don't want performance. They want motion that purifies. Rest comes when the work has no name and the worker forgets they're working. Venus Ketu in Pisces detaches from desire, yet moves through grace. These people rest best in spaces that hold quiet beauty with no expectation. A crumbling garden, a faded sari, a window where sunset always looks older than time. Their home might have heirloom objects no one understands, devotional items to unknown gods, and soft fabrics they never wear. Comfort is not in ownership. It's in witnessing gentle decay. They are soothed by beauty that doesn't need to be loved back. Jupiter, Rahu in Pisces expands towards spiritual infinity, but with urgency. These individuals are comforted in large-scale mystical missions, visionary dream schools, utopian healing collectives, multidimensional consciousness labs. Their homes may resemble sacred universities, one room for meditation, another for sound tech, another for language experiments. They don't rest by retreating. They rest by immersing fully in something boundless. The space must reflect limitless soul work. Saturn Ketu in Pisces finds rest only through vanishing structure. These individuals feel safe in spaces where austerity meets transcendence. Bare-walled temples, salt caves, cold ritual baths, old cloisters with no clocks. Their homes are not places of pleasure. They are quiet altars to surrender, a single mat, a chipped bowl, a candle they never relight. Rest is not comfort, it is release from the self's persistence, and that to them is peace. These unorthodox conjunctions reveal how Pisces finds comfort not through control or clarity, but through unstructured immersion into meaning beyond form. Whether through sacred emptiness, enchanted overwhelm, or dream-flooded quiet, Pisces doesn't just need space to rest. It needs a space where the soul can soften, blur, and disappear into something eternal.